How many times have this happened to you? I mean, if you're a rookie or if you're not too comfortable with making stewed chicken as we do in the Southern Caribbean with you sort of caramelizing. I gotta turn the stove off here, this is ruined. But if you are fearful of this happening to you, now here's the thing, notice how black and everything that is gone there? I think I'm gonna have to turn the fan on over the stove. This is the #1 complaint from people, from emails I get. Chris, I don't know how to caramelize that sugar properly, and my dish came out. I mean, they say making stewed chicken, stewed pork, stewed beef, pilau. That is ruined. Stop, turn the stove off, push this aside, allow it to cool down, wash the pan, and stay tuned. While what you just witnessed there is dramatization, your boy don't fool around like that. It is the sad reality of, for many people when making stewed chicken, the sort of browning of the sugar. Some people say burn the sugar, but we're really not burning the sugar, we're sort of caramelizing it. And they run into that problem there where they end up with, you know, a disaster, to be honest with you. But hold tight. Chris here, CaribbeanPod.com. Always a pleasure to have you guys here in the kitchen with me. I'm going to show you all a foolproof method of making Caribbean stewed chicken. Same flavor, same color, same texture, without the risk of screwing up like that. Vibes it up, man. The first thing we want to make is a sort of sauce or marinade that we're going to use for achieving this stewed chicken without burning that sugar. And pretty much all the ingredients we're using here today is pretty much the same we would typically use when doing a traditional stewed chicken, except the technique is a little bit different. In here I have a couple heaping tablespoons of brown sugar, some Worcestershire sauce, some dark soy sauce, 3 cloves of garlic that I minced. You can crush it if you want, that's totally up to you. Some Caribbean sunshine, and if you notice, I used the bottom of the Scotch bonnet pepper here, no seeds and none of that white membrane there. That is where most of that heat is going to be. We don't want that, we just want just a gentle kick from it. Remember to wash your hands with soap and water after. I've got here a small onion that I diced up, and a good stewed chicken always has ginger, and I have here 1 inch and 1 inch piece of ginger that I just julienne. You can grate it if you want. A couple other ingredients to go in there, some tomato ketchup. May seem a little bit strange, but trust me on that. And we need some water in there just to bring everything together. And all we want to do is whisk that together to form our base for making this stewed chicken. Here I have some chicken thighs, bone in, but I removed all the skin and most of the fat. They're pretty tiny chicken thighs, but all the ingredients we use here today will be mentioned down in the description below, as well as on CaribbeanPod.com. So we've got those chicken thighs, bone in. If you want to use boneless, if you want to use chicken breast, just make sure you cut up all the pieces around the same size. We have that sort of marinade now, and I'm going to go in with about half of it in there and give it a good mix. We want this to marinate for about 10 to 15 minutes. You don't really need to do this overnight. So give it a good mix and let it marinate, as I said, for about 10-15 minutes or so. Now you will notice the only salt in there is from that Lea & Perrins, as well as that dark soy sauce that we went in with. Later on we're going to add some more salt and some other ingredients to that, because I know what all you're thinking, Chris, where all the herbs, where's the real seasoning in this? Trust me, the seasoning coming. I've got a nice heavy pot here, nice and wide, on a high flame, and I'm going to go in with about a tablespoon of vegetable oil. You really want this, you really want a heavy pan. Anything little flimsy is not going to work out all that great for you, trust me on that. And here is where we're going to start adding the pieces of seasoned chicken to the pot. You can already get that lovely aroma of that ginger happening in the kitchen here. I'm just going to flip over the pieces of chicken. Keep that heat on a sort of a high flame, because what we're trying to do here is sort of replicate the color, that sort of caramelized color and flavors of a good stewed chicken. So we really want to burn off all that liquid and allow the sugars, as you would see over here in the corner here, that's what's already happening here. Just going to deglaze that a little bit. And continue cooking that until all that liquid has burnt off. I just want you all to peep something. You will notice on the corner of my pan here, it's looking as if it's starting to burn. And on this corner here, what happens is, because my flame on my stove is, for some reason, it's bigger on those ends, it tends to want to heat up the pan more on those corners. But that is cool. Continue going here. It's going to start looking as if it's burning on the bottom, whatever. Keep going. Trust me on this. That is how we're going to develop that lovely color that we're looking for. And the longer we allow this to go, you know, one of the questions people have is whether or not, because we're using brown sugar and stewing, if the dish will come out sweet. The longer you allow this to go, it sort of takes away all that sweetness, and you get a sort of a caramelized flavor from it, and that is what we're looking for. I'm just trying to use the pieces of chicken on those sort of dark areas here to develop some color. Took anywhere from about 11 to 15 minutes or so to get to this point here. You notice we've got all that lovely color on the bottom here. The pieces of chicken has firmed up. We've got the color on it, and I kid you not, the kitchen is smelling absolutely wicked. I know I don't use that word enough anymore, but so here's what we're going to do. We're really going to bring everything together. We're going to go in, my heat is still on high, we're going to go in with the rest of that sauce or marinade that we have here. In the same bowl that I marinated the chicken. Now, because I'm using thighs, I want to ensure that this cooks all the way through. I added about 3/4 cups, closer to a cup of water in the same bowl we marinated the chicken in. We've got that fresh thyme to put in there, and this is where that sort of herbal element is going to come together. Now, we've got some parsley, a couple scallions that I chopped up there, and for a little acidity to help balance off the sweetness of that sugar, I've got half of a medium tomato that I just diced up. The whole idea here now is to bring that back up to a boil, and I know my little Terrahawks, my daughters, they like it a little bit more spicy. So in goes a bit more of that Scotch bonnet pepper. Bring that up to a boil. And as it comes up to a boil, kind of work the edge around to get all that color into the chicken. As it starts coming up to a boil, I'm just going to move that around. My heat is still on medium high there. And as you see, as I move the chicken pieces around and the liquid starts getting in contact with the sort of, it's not burnt, it's just darker areas of the pan, it's going to really get that gravy to the color that we're looking for. Final ingredient to go in there, oops, doesn't want to go in there, salt, and I'm going to go in with some, some black pepper. If you have fresh ground black pepper, I mean, it's a flex. I do apologize if this video is turning out to be rather long, but it's a sort of a technique and everything that I want to really get home with you guys. So there you go, friends. What you need to do here is personalize it two ways. I need some gravy because I'm boiling some rice over there, so I'm just going to thicken this up just a little bit more. Taste it for salt and adjust it accordingly. Let me give you guys a little close-up. There we go. Chris here, CaribbeanPot.com. No excuse now for not making what I believe to be one of the best chicken recipes ever. You can't go wrong with Caribbean stewed chicken. Remember to hit that video, the thumbs up, comment below, and share it. I mean, they say you gotta pass it on, man.